It's happening here at SUNY Oswego and at college campuses across the country. Universities are losing students, losing funding, and in some cases, losing their future.
Meanwhile, tuition is inching higher, public trust is slipping, and one question is gaining attention. Is college worth it?
Join us as we examine the growing uncertainty surrounding America's colleges and universities in this Oswego Now special report, The State of Higher Education.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Julianne Fike.
And I'm Eddie McAlpine. The challenges facing higher education today are many, and the numbers tell the story.
We start by putting SUNY Oswego under the microscope. What's shaping here reflects what's happening on countless university campuses nationwide.
Oswego Now's Jason Rood has been combing through the data. Jason, based on your research, what's the most telling number?
Well, Julian and Eddie, Oswego is facing a collision of challenges, one of the biggest being enrollment declines. Oswego has lost 1,100 students in the past 5 years, a 15% drop, including a 3% slide this year alone. Fewer students mean immediate hits to tuition, student fees, and housing revenue. Assistant Vice President for Financial Operations Becky Waters says that state support has inched up, but not fast enough to keep pace with salaries, utilities, and service contracts. The result? The campus is spending millions more than it brings in. There is a course of action. Waters says Oswego's new strategic plan puts one priority front and center: to rebuild undergraduate enrollment while boosting campus efficiency to stabilize the long-term budget. If undergraduate numbers continue to slip, the campus could face hard choices, from larger class sizes to fewer electives, or even cuts in academic programs and other student services. There's competition inside SUNY itself as well. Waters notes that larger university centers, like Buffalo and Stony Brook, are growing and pulling students away from smaller campuses, a shift that could make Oswego's climb even steeper. Julian and Eddie, back to you.
As Jason mentioned, the situation across the State University of New York system is far from even.
We asked Oswego Now's Rob Finger to break down how campuses across the SUNY system are faring and why some of the state's public universities face fewer challenges than others.
Welcome to the State University of New York system, otherwise known as the SUNY system. With 64 campuses across the state, including one right here on the shores of Lake Ontario, it is the largest state-supported higher education system in the country. But with it being so big, it takes a lot of money and as a result, a lot of enrollment to keep it afloat above that water. While we'll be mainly focusing on Oswego today, it's important to get a full picture of the SUNY system. SUNY splits their campuses into 4 categories: university centers, university colleges, technology colleges, and community colleges. For the purposes of today, we'll focus on the top 3. Now, let's talk enrollment. Over the past 10 years, the SUNY system has faced a serious declining enrollment problem. University colleges lost significant percentages of their student bodies. Oswego fell by over 1,000 students, and in an extreme case, Buffalo State lost over 3,000 students. Technical colleges like Farmingdale and FIT also largely followed these trends, losing about 1,000 students each as well. The outlier to this rule, however, are their Big 4 university centers. Over the past 10 years, they're at a net increase from where they were in 2014, with the biggest winner being UB, increasing by 4,000 students. And with more students comes more money. In May of 2024, SUNY announced that it would be increasing operating funds for all of its campuses. The amounts, shown in these graphs here, tell a compelling story. By the nature of them being bigger schools, university centers get a lot more money than university colleges. However, when we look at who got the most for university colleges, the numbers start to get very interesting. In the lead is Buffalo State, where even though they lost over 3,000 students, they got quite the boost in terms of cash. Behind them, in second and third, is Oswego and New Paltz. But let's throw these numbers in a blender. Let's dice them down to a per student amount, and what we get is something slightly concerning, if you go to an upstate SUNY, that is. The most heavily funded schools, per student that is, are Purchase, Maritime, and Old Westbury, all downstate and Long Island schools. Meanwhile, Oswego and New Paltz lag behind. Turns out this student isn't getting as much cash as he thought he was. For now, from the ever-changing shores of Lake Ontario, I'm Rob Finger. Oswego Now.
When it comes to balancing SUNY Oswego's budget, much of that responsibility falls to the Vice President of Administration and Finance.
Victoria Furlong holds that title, and our Parker Vora sat down with her for an extensive conversation. Parker, it can't be an easy time to be in that role.
It's not, Eddie, but Vice President Furlong was incredibly transparent during our interview, and she made it very clear that times are tough. But my takeaway is that she's not about to shy away from the challenge.
What major financial constraints is the college currently dealing with?
So right now we have enrollment challenges, which is driving, I would say, the largest gap with our budget. The state of New York, being a state-funded agency, provides us with some state tax dollar support, but the majority of the funding we received for operations at the university comes from enrollment, and it comes from tuition and fees that students pay. So as we've seen over the last 5 years, and really, I would say over the last 10 years, a slow decline, and really the largest decline hitting us around the COVID time period, about 2020. We've lost, at least in the last 5 years, over 1,000 students. So that's a significant amount of tuition and fees that the university is not receiving to support operations. So that's causing, I would say, the biggest challenge right now in reconciling, the finances of the university.
So what cuts, unfortunately, have had to been made that maybe the school didn't want to make, but had to make, unfortunately, just because of budgeting and some financial issues?
Certainly. So right now we are in a hiring freeze, which means we are very prescriptive about the positions that we do refill. They are typically those that are focused on the health and safety of the university, as well as those that are revenue generation. And so when we have a vacancy, when somebody either resigns or retires from the university, we're taking a very careful approach as to how we, if we and when we will refill those positions. So that's been a practice that's been in place for a couple of years now. We've also looked at course consolidation. So in areas where we have some of our instructional courses, instead of having, a course with 4 students and one with 8, we might have just one with 12 students now. So really looking at course consolidation, as well as course caps. So in some cases, we have the capacity, instead of just having a course cap at 15 students, we can go all the way to 20. So we're really trying to fill those courses and reduce the redundancy that could potentially exist within our academic offerings. We've also had to make some efficiencies within our facilities units. And so what that means is we are using shared labor in various buildings with our cleaning staff or custodial staff, and asking those folks to, maybe do a couple buildings as opposed to just maybe, cleaning one building or having access to one building. So we've made some real operational changes in that respect to really kind of reconcile the current or the available resources with the operational need of the university.
So from your perspective, is Oswego struggling financially? And if so, how are they communicating that to students, faculty, and other members on campus?
Yes, I would say yes. I mean, SUNY Oswego has some significant financial challenges right now, and I think they have been, we've been, managing, I guess, as best we can. But the bottom line is we really need to reconcile the number of students that we have with the available resources that we have, with the offerings that we have. And when I mean by offerings, I mean broadly of the university. We have fixed costs that is maintaining the infrastructure of the university. We have fixed costs in payroll for our employees. We really are taking a really concerted effort to reconcile that and ensure that we are operating on a balanced budget. Because I think, the idea that using precious reserves for that the university does have for operations is not a very strategic move in a sense. Those reserves should be used for investments. They should be used for innovations. We do currently right now are in the midst of launching or have launched our strategic plan, which is for 5 years. And the idea is there's a lot of really exciting opportunities to regain strength and regain momentum in the enrollment front over the next 5 years. And that's really what the university continues to be focused on.
Eddie and Julianne, at one point during our interview, Vice President Furlong quoted SUNY Oswego President Peter Nwosu, who says, "You can't cut your way out of a problem, a sign perhaps that the axe won't continue to fall."
Yeah, Parker, great interview there, and that's definitely reassuring for those looking to apply to SUNY Oswego in the near future.
The struggles facing higher education have impact beyond learning. Campuses tend to be economic drivers, providing jobs and supporting businesses in their communities. But when finances get too tight, campuses close. It's a reality we've seen unfold all across upstate New York.
In the last 3 years, St. Rose College in Albany shut down. Back here in central New York, it was Cazenovia College and Wells College, institutions rich in history and tradition, have closed their doors. Oswego Now's Logan Russo explores what happens when a college town loses its college.
Located on the shore of Cayuga Lake, the sprawling Wells College campus in Aurora was once occupied by hundreds of students. Now it's mostly birds. Wells College struggled with enrollment for years. Founded as an all-women's college, it became co-ed in 2005, hoping to attract new students. The change wasn't enough. Wells closed in 2024 after 150 years, citing low enrollment and financial challenges. Mark Mabee Jr. was a student athlete at Wells. He transferred to SUNY Canton after the school closed.
The week before finals week, I want to say, is like the Monday right before finals week. They were like, oh, they just sent out a quick email like, oh yeah, the school is closing. They didn't really give us any information, like any detailed information. They just sent out a quick email right before finals week.
On top of the stress Mark was facing with the news of Wells' closure, he also had to deal with another issue. He was currently mid-season with the Wells Express men's baseball team.
We were in the playoff hunt, actually. We were a game back from being in the playoffs, and we still had 2 conference games left, and then we had senior night. So we had to practice that day, obviously, and at the beginning of practice, everybody was just really emotional. We didn't really know like what to do, but like we knew that we had to focus because like we had a chance to go into playoffs. And just that first practice after finding out was like, it was just a really weird vibe, but we were able to put things together, just weren't able to get the game that we needed.
It isn't just Wells College that closed. Just southeast of Syracuse, the quad of Cazenovia College is eerily quiet. I should know. My sister was part of one of the last graduating classes before the school closed in 2023 after 199 years. Once again, the main issue cited for the closure, finances. But it's not just the students and faculty affected by the closing of small private colleges in small college towns. One Cazenovia resident who asked us not to use his name says the school's closure is affecting the economy of the entire village.
I think it was a substantial loss. The population was important of students, but also the staff was substantial too. Students came and went, but the staff was ongoing and important to the community, and it was a shame to lose them.
Now that both Wells and Cazenovia colleges have closed, the towns and villages they belong to are left to wonder what comes next for the campuses. Cass College was recently bought in July for $9.5 million for future development as apartments. But as residents point out, reusing the buildings might not be as easy as it seems.
It'll be a very difficult and challenging thing to turn the property that you see behind me and is basically the heart of the college and the beautiful part of the college too, into something that's really going to be useful, attractive, and sort of in sync with Cazenovia as a village.
Wells College is still up for sale, but offers as large as $12.5 million are still up in the air. With Oswego Now, I'm Logan Russo.
Still ahead, we asked students and faculty at 3 SUNY campuses, is college worth it?
But first, he wanted to give back to his alma mater by teaching a course why a TV meteorologist's wish has been put on hold. You're watching an Oswego Now special report, The State of Higher Education. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Some major U.S. companies are laying off thousands of employees this year, from Amazon to shipping giant UPS. The situation isn't quite as stark for colleges and universities, but many campuses are quietly reducing the size of their workforce.
At SUNY Oswego, it's happening through attrition. When a full-time employee leaves, they're not necessarily replaced. Part-time faculty, often referred to as adjunct professors, have also felt the brunt of tough financial times.
I met with one aspiring adjunct instructor who was eager to teach this fall until he got word his services were no longer needed.
6:48 is the time.
You might see him on TV, but this meteorologist had another role lined up this fall, taking on teaching at his alma mater.
I was supposed to be teaching the broadcast meteorology and weather forecasting course in the fall semester this year.
Carson Metcalf was set to teach his passion at SUNY Oswego, but the school cut the budget. something that wasn't on his radar.
Yeah, unfortunately, I found out the school wasn't able to bring me on this year to be an adjunct professor, and to have that class, that broadcast meteorology weather forecasting class, specifically tailored for what we do here at Channel 9, I think would be really, really critical to people going into the field in the future.
Hoping to educate the next generation, Carson knows the industry.
I've been a meteorologist for about 9 years now. I graduated from SUNY Oswego back in 2016. So to be able to teach there and take not only what I learned there, but take my real world experience from when I worked at Spectrum and now working at News Channel 9 to be able to teach kind of what I've seen, the reality of the broadcast meteorology field in the last 10 years or so, to give that to students in the future, where I learned myself, would be really, really, really special.
If another teaching opportunity is in the forecast, you can expect to see Professor Metcalf rain or shine.
I am sad things didn't work out with getting to teach the broadcast meteorology course, but I'm hopeful for the future. Hopefully we'll have a good group of kids and a set of circumstances that will allow us to be able to run that class in the future, and I would love to have the opportunity to get to teach it again.
For now, he'll stay at the green screen, but in the near future, he won't hesitate to come back to the green and gold.
SUNY Oswego students, clubs, and organizations are also navigating how to get by with smaller budgets. Each student pays an activity fee, and combined, those fees help fund student-led groups on campus. The problem, fewer students, means the fees aren't stretching as far as they once did. Over the last 10 years, student activity fee revenue has dropped by $300,000, according to Student Association Business Coordinator Jason Lin.
Around campus, because we are collecting less funds, we have less funds to allocate out to our clubs and organizations.
As our James Fitzpatrick quickly discovered, leaders of student clubs have noticed.
Oswego clubs are facing hard times this semester due to cuts in their budget. Clubs have struggled as a result of this, and some have even lost members. Poker Club President Ariel Fine says the club is now facing financial challenges.
Last year we had close to $1,000, and this year we have around like 400. We got cut in more than half.
Most of that money goes towards weekly prizes and a bigger final prize for tournaments.
We have our weekly prizes, and then we have our final tournament prizes, which are our big ticket items.
With limited funds, the club can't always replace worn-out cards and chips, so Fine sometimes has to pay out of pocket.
We just cut out everything extra, anything we need to replacing supplies, upgrading supplies. We don't have any money for that anymore. I paid out of pocket for a few things because me and my treasurer, we allocated a certain amount for our weekly prizes and for our final tournament prizes, and that's all we could get out of the budget.
Even with budget challenges, the club continues to grow, but sustaining it will require more resources.
As we've been growing every year for the past 4 years, so for that reason, we would not be able to continue on this budget.
The club is hoping that Student Association will go all in to help them keep the game going.
We'll need a bigger budget at some point for sure.
The Nerf Club is also feeling the impact, according to club's president, Brian Dammer.
Within the last semester, we've seen actually a decent amount of budget cuts. Within the last year, we've went from about $750 down to about $500 for our yearly budget that the club is allocated.
Like the poker club, assets used can be expensive and sometimes hard to acquire.
Challenges is especially with a Nerf club, where we have to provide blasters, darts, cover, and all of this stuff to build a fun environment for our club to work. A lot of these things are expensive, especially the cover. We use pop-up tents and stuff like that, which usually run us about $30 to $40 a tent. So with decreasing budget, we can't really get the supplies we need to make our club as interactive and as fun as possible for our club members.
Even the bigger clubs on campus have taken a hit this semester. WNYO Sports Director Derek Clark explains.
Anything of an actual normal radio station, at one point we basically had. And that is not the case anymore.
Cuts will also affect new students who want hands-on experience at the station.
There's probably someone that wants to do something really cool and wicked, but we don't have that budget per se.
For students, clubs mean more than just a budget. They're about learning, connecting, and having fun.
not a lot of options for students to do. I mean, that's the whole reason we're here, man. We're here to learn, we're here to have fun, we're here to build relationships. But if we don't have the budget to support those things that we are able to do, it just goes downhill from there.
The clubs will hope to receive more financial support from the school in the spring 2026 semester. James Fitzpatrick, Oswego Now.
Later, we hear from students on 3 SUNY campuses, their take on tuition, learning, and the value of higher education.
Up next, the identity, traditions, and spirit of many college campuses is tied directly to team sports. How is Oswego's athletics department navigating this moment? We'll find out when this Oswego Now special report returns, The State of Higher Education. Stay with us. Welcome back. At some of the nation's largest universities, Division I athletics can be money makers, bringing in millions of dollars in sponsorships, ticket sales, and broadcast licensing rights.
At Division III schools like SUNY Oswego, the revenue stream is more of a trickle. Sports reporter Mike Neckers has been digging into how athletics department is coping during the challenging financial times. Mike, what did you find?
Well, guys, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but when it comes to funding for the athletic department, it all comes back to enrollment.
Oswego State Athletics is facing a new reality this year, one shaped not by wins and losses, but by the numbers behind the scenes. As enrollment continues to drop across SUNY campuses, the athletic department is adjusting to operate with fewer resources than before.
Athletics is fee funded, so every student pays a fee, including the athletic fee, and that is how we fund our budget.
Because student fees directly fund Oswego athletics, fewer students on campus means fewer dollars coming in. And according to the department, that connection is already being felt.
So the higher the enrollment, the more budget that we have. The lower the enrollment, less budget that we have. So with lower enrollment, yes, there has been an impact for us.
The impact has forced administration to rethink everything, from operations to facility and equipment management, and they say the adjustments haven't been easy.
Right now, given our enrollment is not where it has been, it is tough right now. We are, like everybody on campus, making sacrifices budgeting-wise.
Administrators aren't the only ones starting to feel the effects, as athletes and coaches alike have their concerns as well.
I feel like it's been pretty outdated, and compared to what I've seen from other facilities, we could use an upgrade, and I think it would definitely be very beneficial to all student athletes.
Probably, it's probably been the biggest struggle that I've had since I've been here is working within budget constraints. Obviously, part of that has to do with numbers going down, across the board, not just here, but across all SUNY schools.
With limited resources, the department says community support from fans to sponsors has never been more important.
Them attending games and being sponsors has absolutely direct impact for every one of our student athletes, regardless of the event that they're attending.
Of course, not every student can be an NCAA athlete, but hundreds of SUNY Oswego students still play their hearts out as part of club sports coordinated through campus recreation. So far, student government has managed to protect campus recreation from some of the worst cuts, but as Dominic Ciccarelli discovered, there's fear that won't last for long.
Student Association Vice President Emmy Ashley says the cuts are widespread from student organizations to campus recreation, the organization that oversees things like club sports and campus events.
We tried also just to cut that as minimally as we can because we know that campus rec is such a huge part of just like the involvement here. We did have to make some big budget cuts because the less students that we have, the less money that we get. We don't have as much money as everyone would like us to have.
Campus Recreation Director Brian Wallace says the club sports budget has yet to be too heavily affected by lack of funding.
We did not see too much of a dip in the budget for the club allocations. We did have some cut. I mean, we lost maybe, $15,000 or something from the previous year. However, we felt that most of those clubs could operate with the budgets that were given to them.
The cuts weren't noticeable this year to campus rec, but what about next year?
I think next year might be the year that we might see some drop. So, because now we have a better idea of what the financial future is, and each club might receive a little less than they did the previous year.
The solution to this potential problem? Fundraising.
If you fundraise, then we'll give you another little advantage for this, or we'll be more likely to give you the money that you didn't end up making. With club sports, I mean, there's such a high involvement in what they do that we really just try our very hardest not to cut that.
For Oswego Now, I'm Dominic Ciccarelli.
A lot of uncertainty for athletics and campus recreation, but the outlook is very positive. Eddie and Julianne, back to you.
Thanks, Mike. Finally, we ask, is college really worth it?
Students and faculty from 3 SUNY campuses in different parts of the state will weigh in when we return. You're watching an Oswego Now special report, the state of higher education.
Welcome back. Public trust in higher education improved slightly this year, but according to Gallup's latest survey, less than half of Americans say they're confident higher education is the right choice for them. In that survey, concerns over cost, quality, practicality, and political bias all came up for reasons for doubting the value of a college degree.
We wanted to know what students and faculty think. What are they experiencing as the rest of the country asks, is college worth it? So, we sent reporters Weston Ebrick, Dylan Ford, and Elena Thomas to SUNY Fredonia, SUNY Broome, and Binghamton, and into our own backyard, SUNY Oswego, to ask that very question.
College is exciting, but also expensive. And I'm here at SUNY Fredonia's theater department to ask students, is it still worth it?
Students say the value of college is in the hands-on training being taught by professionals.
Just the way that I learn better from talking to someone about something. There's something about having a person-to-person connection of for 4 years, I know that you are going to have to teach me X amount of things.
Others say the value comes from the community they found here.
I also think community has been nice because it's given me, like I said, an opportunity to have these friends that I can go do things with and feel the same things I did.
For staff members, it's also about preparing students for their future careers.
But I think it's a great help for them to have this theater program where they can learn and they have that sort of safety net to make mistakes and have things go wrong in this area instead of something like that happening in the real world, like their first time out.
A degree at SUNY Fredonia isn't just about the cost. It's also about making connections, developing skills, and finding your path. But what do other schools have to say? We sent Dylan to another SUNY college to find out.
Thank you, Weston. Today I'm here at SUNY Broome to get a professor's opinion on whether college is still worth it.
Dr. Tim Skinner, a professor in the Communications and Media Arts Department at SUNY Broome, says getting a college degree still has value.
I still think college is worth it to attend nowadays. Do you have to be financially savvy with it? Of course. A college degree will still get you more money than just having your high school diploma.
Skinner also says it might not be an immediate impact, but it's important for your future.
Understanding that you're going to start out kind of small. It's an investment in yourself and an investment in your profession. And just take the time to continue to learn that profession, grow that profession, but know that farther down the road, those rewards will be coming.
It's important to get professors' insight on these matters, as they are the ones who are actually teaching us and are in this profession. Now we're going to bump it off to Alana back at Oswego to get some other students' perspectives on this.
Thanks, Dylan. Here at Oswego, students aren't just thinking about their education, but the price they're paying for it. I'll be asking students how they measure the value of their education. As tuition rises, many students say value comes down to opportunity.
I look at what opportunity my degree could give you. That's how I judge the value.
Other students question whether the cost matches the quality.
I feel like you get a lot of access to a lot of great educators here and a lot of opportunities here at a much lower cost than other schools that are available in the area.
When asked if they'd choose college again, answers were mixed.
I would probably choose to do college over again, especially being away for college. But I would probably just do a few things differently when it came to my academics and when it came to applying for scholarships or applying for things to help me with my financial, stability out here.
And for some, alternatives like trades or certifications are becoming more appealing.
There are a lot of other options now. College is not the only way to start a career.
Students say education matters, but so does the price. At SUNY Oswego, Elena Thomas.
So Eddie, we've covered a lot today, and it's leading me to ask, do you think college is really worth it?
Well, Julianne, there's a lot of moving pieces, but if it weren't for college, we wouldn't be here today to bring you this special report. Thank you for watching this Oswego Now special report, The State of Higher Education. I'm Eddie McAlpine.
And I'm Julianne Fike. Until next time, take care.